Welcome my dear students of class 9A to my history class. Today a new lesson I shall introduce you. The name of this lesson, the Gupta period. Here there are some points I have mentioned in the board. Please look at it. Sources. Sources are of two types. Number one, literary sources. Number two, archaeological sources. The role of Kalidasa, the account of Fahir, the description of, state's affairs, the Allahabad pillar inscription. These are the points I am going to narrate. First one, sources. There are two types of sources given by the historians about the Guptas. Number one, literary sources. Number two, archaeological sources. We get information about from the accounts of foreign travelers. It was Fahir first came to India during the reign of Chandragupta II from China. He was the first Chinese Buddhist traveler or pilgrim, came to India to receive the knowledge of Buddhism during the reign of Chandragupta II. He wrote one famous book, Hokoki. And in this famous book, he described about the rules of the Guptas. He described about the administrative skills and talents of the Guptas. He described about the social, political, economic conditions of the country during the Gupta's rule. And this book also gives us a detailed information about the literary, artistic, architectural skills of the talented people of India during the Gupta period. Besides, Kalidasa also was there. He was a person of different qualities, mixed qualities. The words of Kalidasa, Avingara Sakuntalam, was a drama. And a number of poems also were written by Kalidasa. These were Meghadutam, Kumarasambhava, Raghuvamsa. These also are known as epics, written in the form of poems. So these are the most important literary source of information about the reign of the Guptas. Now next one, archaeological sources. What are archaeological sources? There were certain archaeological sources, for example, the Allahabad pillar inscription. The Allahabad pillar inscription was the most important part of the Gupta dynasty. Udayagiri, Khandagiri, Godwan stone inscriptions, Junagadh rock inscription, Meheruli rock inscriptions. These are the most important archaeological sources about the Guptas. Besides these archaeological sources, another archaeological informations also are there, that is Tamropatro, caves, Ajanta Ellora caves, coins of various types shows the power, talents of the Guptas, sculpture of Mathura art. So all these things are the most important archaeological sources of information about the Gupta period in India. Now, I should discuss about Kalidasa. Who is Kalidasa? I am going to discuss about Kalidasa. Who is he? Kalidasa was a great personality, established himself to be a poet, dramatist, and romantic, writer during the Gupta period. The greatest of all Indian poets was Kalidasa. He lived in the court of Chandragupta too. During 5th century CE, his amazing personality attracted Chandragupta too a lot. That's why he made him to be his courtier. The most four major poetic works of Kalidasa: Raghuvamsha, Ritu Sambhara, Kumara Sambhava, and Meghaduta. And the dramatic works were number 1, Vikrama Vaishyam, Abhigyana Sakuntalam, and Malavika Agnimettam. So these are the most important parts, literary works of Kalidasa. It is regarded that Kalidasa created one hero of Malavika Agnimittam, but that hero was actually an image of Chandragupta too. Another important work of him is Meghadutam. The literature of the Gupta period reached to its highest extent, and all the things, subject matter, were written in Sanskrit language. The entire collection of the works of Kalidasa has been translated into different languages of India throughout the whole world. Now, next point, account of Fahien. Account of Fahien. Who was Fahien? Fahien was a Chinese traveler, came to the court of Chandragupta too. Now, why did he come? He came to India with a view to receive the knowledge of Buddhism and the administrative skills of Chandragupta too, and he wanted to gain knowledge about the Guptas because the Guptas' image reached far and wide. That the Guptas were great rulers of India. They were rich, prosperous, wealthy, courageous. The people of different parts outside, the people of not only India but people of other parts of India, means outside India, they also came to know about it. That's why Fahien not only came to India to receive the knowledge of Buddhism, but also came to receive the knowledge of the Gupta administration, to experience the people under Chandragupta too, social, political and economic condition of the country, the condition of the people in the country, the administrative skills of the Guptas, each and every part of the Gupta administration. He wanted to know. That's why he stayed in India for about 13 years, and while staying 13 years in India, he gained much knowledge about the Indians, about the Guptas. Who was he? He was Fahien. Fahien maintained a system. Fahien gained respect from King Chandragupta too, because of his politeness, simplicity. Although Fahien was a great karatist, while coming to India, while crossing various places through the narrow pathway beside the hills, he had to face many problems, and by applying his karate skill, by applying his physical strength, he defeated them and then ultimately was able to reach India. He was Fahien. But on reaching India, he came to know that the rule under the Guptas The age under the Guptas was very peaceful. People were peace loving. They were prosperous, rich, wealthy. There was huge agricultural production from the agricultural lands. Large fertile lands were there from where a number of crops of good qualities were produced. And there was mild punishment. There was no capital punishment because there was no poverty in the country during the reign of the Guptas. Death sentence was completely unknown to them. And crimes are negligible. But whenever the cases of repeated attempts, crimes were negligible but in cases of repeated attempts, the offender's right hand was cut off. The people of that time were all law-abiding and honest. As a result, the administration had become liberal, had become more liberal than that of the Mauryas. In his book, Fukuoki, Fahian wrote that there was a number of charitable institutions like hospitals founded by caring and wealthy citizens of the country. He praised the people as well as the king because of their policy of religious tolerance. Because Vaishnavism, Shaktivism, Shivaism, Buddhism, these all coexisted harmoniously in the society. According to Fahian, trade and commerce flourished. Large group of people were agriculturists, while other occupationists also were there. They were pottery maker, carpentry, spinning. Their professions was pottery making, carpentry, spinning, jewelry making, animal husbandry, etc., etc. There was no poll tax, no restriction imposed on the people. Peasants and farmers, they had to pay one part of their, production as tax for the Gupta Empire. That means there was no poll tax or land tax, but agriculturists had to pay a part of their produce as tax to the state. The roads were safe. The roads were kept safe for travelers with many rest houses along them. Why? Because sometimes travelers from foreign countries would visit the famous, capital city Patliputra during Gupta period. The fame and glory of Patliputra reached far and wide. So travelers, pilgrims of different countries of the world would come to visit the famous capital city Patliputra, and they were astonished to see the richness of Patliputra, the lifestyle of the people of Patliputra, the life, the income of the people of Patliputra, and the buildings, palaces of Patliputra, which attracted them a lot. That's why a number of pilgrims, travelers would come and visit the famous capital city under the Guptas, Patliputra. And next point, my dear students, the Allahabad pillar inscriptions. Now, who constructed it? The Allahabad pillar inscription was constructed by Samudragupta. It was Harishana, the court poet of Samudragupta, composed the contents that are inscribed on this very pillar inscription, Allahabad. The pillar was erected by Ashoka 6 centuries ago, but later on it was chosen by Samudragupta to inscribe his own talents, own achievements on the wall of the Allahabad pillar, and it was done by court poet of Samudragupta, Harishana. The writings on this stone pillar give an exhaustive account of the political career of Samudragupta and the kingdom conquered. It was written in which language? It was written in Sanskrit language by Harishana, because Harishana was the court poet of Samudragupta and he learned Sanskrit. In that stone pillar, there was a single sentence consisted of 33 lines, of which only some lines are readable now, and most of the lines are illegible, had become illegible. But the thing is, the inscription is a source of inspiration for the readers, for the historians, for the educationists, for the students of history, because of the role of Samudragupta and other Gupta rulers. That Samudragupta, defeated the kings in the north, that he, established that he defeated 12 kings in the south, that he extended his empire, established a strong empire during his reign, and the image of the Guptas also attracted millions of people of the world during his period. Each and every activities of Samudragupta, his achievements are inscribed on the stone pillar at Allahabad, and it was written by Harishana in Sanskrit. Up to this, my dear students, next day the remaining points. Thank you.